Most EVs on the market today come with over-the-air telematics, allowing you to check on your car's state of charge, start or stop charging, and precondition the cabin ahead of your trip. For owners of the Nissan Leaf, its included telematics system, originally known as Carwings but changed a few years ago in most to Nissan Connect EV, offers all of the above via an embedded modem with the car. As countries around the world have switched off the 3G networks that Nissan originally used for this system, Nissan has offered customers in some markets the ability to pay to upgrade to a newer telematics radio in order to continue to use the system, but in Australia, that's not going to happen. Australian Leaf owners were notified last week via email that Nissan is ending support for telematics entirely as of September 30th, presumably as the 3G network it relies on shuts down. Nissan is giving no upgrade path, but for those who want Carwings-like telematics, check out the Open Vehicle Monitoring System. We'll link to it below. Norway might have so many electric vehicles on the road that charging stations are more useful to the majority of new owners than gas stations. But elsewhere in the world, big oil is still dominant. But in Canada, specifically in the Comox Valley of Vancouver Island, BC, a new rewrite of the zoning rules that's just been passed by the region's local government means that all gas stations would be considered legally non-compliant. While existing ones will be allowed to continue to operate, they won't be allowed to add new gas pumps. At the same time, the new zoning rules will allow new filling stations to be built, but they won't be allowed to provide petroleum-based fuels. Only EV charging stations and hydrogen filling stations will be allowed. The goal of this new regulatory effort is to make it easier to build EV and hydrogen fueling stations, but to make it harder for gas and diesel pumps. And if there's more of the former than the latter, it's hoped more people will make the switch. Nobody likes going to car dealerships to get a test drive of a car that you're considering buying. Of course, part of that is the age of COVID, where going anywhere to do anything might make you feel uncomfortable. It does me, to be completely honest. The other reason that at dealership test drives suck, the traditionally pushy salespeople who are more interested in selling you the car than actually letting you ask questions and figure out what life with it might be like. We've seen plenty of automakers and dealerships switch their approach to buying a new car during COVID, but now Kia is the latest automaker to offer an at-home test drive of the Kia Niro EV, or e-Niro if you prefer. If you live in Atlanta, Austin, Boston, Chicago, LA, Miami, New York City, Philadelphia, Seattle, or Washington, D.C., you can now arrange for a Kia e-Niro, along with an actual trained specialist to answer your questions, to arrive at your home or place of work so you can get a more leisurely, real-world test drive. Like many legacy automakers, BMW has been putting a lot of effort into producing new electric vehicles as it rushes to achieve a full transition to zero tailpipe emission vehicles over the next decade. But at IAA Mobility 2021 next month in Munich, yes, that's right, the show which was the Frankfurt Auto Show is now the Munich Auto Show, BMW will showcase the production version of its iX5 hydrogen fuel cell SUV. It has a 125 kilowatt fuel cell stack backed by a battery pack to give 275 kilowatts of peak power output. Based on the X5, this hydrogen fuel cell vehicle will be produced and sold in small volumes in BMW's home market of Germany, and is based on the same fifth-generation electric vehicle drivetrain found in the BMW iX3 and others. BMW has been working on this vehicle for the past 2 years, and while it does view hydrogen as having a place in the vehicle lineup as its future, its limited production shows that for now, EVs are its preferred route. With more and more people switching to electric cars, automakers are now seriously starting to think about how owners can pass the time while charging their vehicles. And while most people have mobile phones with them, watching a show on the center screen of your car or playing a game is becoming increasingly popular. Tesla, of course, is the king of this all, letting customers stream Netflix and offering a range of different games that you can play while you charge. It'll even let you use the steering wheel and pedals to play a skinned version of Mario Kart, although we're still not sure that's good for your car's tires. Now Mercedes-Benz is jumping into the game while you charge world, offering owners of its EQS luxury sedan the option to subscribe to games they can play on their car's screen from the equivalent of $105 per year. The choice of games? Currently Sudoku and Tetris, which we assume Benz thinks is more in keeping with the gaming preferences of its clientele. The UK government has been talking up its green credentials a lot lately, using buzzwords like green economy and zero emission, even though the Prime Minister's own climate change advisor got herself into hot water a few weeks ago for saying that electric vehicles weren't suitable for her, before proceeding to regurgitate some well-busted myths about EVs. For sure, the UK government has done a lot to help promote EVs, but this week it also announced plans that it says will make the UK a, quote, world-leading hydrogen economy, with £4 billion sterling earmarked to be spent on hydrogen fuel cell tech by 2030. Part of this will focus on what it says is a twin-track approach supporting green, electrolytic, and blue carbon capture-enabled hydrogen production, the latter of which has just been highlighted as being anything but environmentally responsible. Given the UK is so small and the range of modern EVs is now into the triple digits, we're not sure this investment makes sense at all, since EVs have already proven themselves far more capable than hydrogen vehicles, both in terms of infrastructure cost and benefit to society for the island nation. Some car designs come and go in the blink of an eye, staying around just enough for one 6-year production cycle of the vehicle. Others, they stick around for decades, barely touched since their debut. For years, the Land Rover Defender, based on the original Series 1 Land Rover, was one such vehicle. Ditto for the original erstwhile Volkswagen Beetle and many more, including the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagen, which, launched in 1979, is still pretty much the same boxy design it was 42 years ago. But at the IAA Munich Motor Show next month, it's about to get a refresh. No, not a design refresh, but a drivetrain refresh, thanks to the EQG electric concept. A traditional G-Wagen on the outside with new LED headlights and EQ-lit grille, this concept car showcases where Mercedes-Benz wants to take the go-anywhere off-roader in the future. Interestingly, if it reaches production, this might be the only EV from the brand that uses its own EV platform, as making the ladder frame G-Wagen fit the EVA platform might just be a little too hard.